Have you ever planned something down to the last detail only to watch it fall apart anyway? That's happened to me more times than I'd like to admit. I really wasn't trying to control everything. I just wanted it to go well. But Mel Robbins' let them theory hit me with a truth I could not ignore. We waste so much time stressing over things we can't control. So here's the real question. What if peace doesn't come from preparing more, but from letting go more? Let's explore that.
Welcome to the Carlventures channel. I'm Carl, and alongside my husband Matthias, we're on an adventurous mission to explore the world with boundless curiosity and open hearts. Our journey is all about immersing ourselves in diverse cultures, connecting with people from all walks of life, and promoting positivity and understanding wherever we go. Join us as we embark on this thrilling adventure together, so buckle up and let's dive into the unknown.
So lately, I've been sitting with something Mel Robbins wrote in her book, Let Them Theory, a chapter that shook me a bit. It said, stop wasting your life on things you can't control. I haven't been able to stop thinking about it, not because I don't already know this deep down, but because I realize how often I still live as if I can control things. Not out of ego, but out of love. Out of a sincere desire to create good outcomes. And sometimes that desire morphs into worry, into overthinking, into stress. It's like when we traveled to Japan last year for the first time. That trip was one of the most beautiful, vibrant, soul-filling journeys I've ever taken. But behind the scenes, it was one of the most complicated to plan. I obsessed over our Shinkansen routes. This is the Japanese bullet trains, because Japanese trains don't wait. And I built in time buffers, double-check transfers, and had everything timed to the minute. I couldn't allow for any error because, one, we had to haul some luggage, and two other people are with me. But it all worked out. But I wonder, would I have enjoyed it even more if I wasn't so stressed? I guess I'll never know. Or when our connection in Frankfurt was canceled on the way to the Paris Olympics last year. It meant losing a whole day in Vienna, and we only planned to stay for 3 nights. I remember just feeling this deep frustration, like the wind had been taken out of me. All that planning, and still, here we were, grounded in an airport rewriting the script. The same thing happened years ago, flying to Barcelona. I planned to have birthday dinner prior to us boarding the cruise, but our flight got lost in Boston. And yet, these moments kept coming to mind after reading Mel's words. And they reminded me, I don't have control over everything, but I do have a choice in how I show up when things fall apart. And that brings me here to 5 things I'm learning on this journey of letting go. Not of care, don't get me wrong, not of responsibility, but out of illusion of control. First, I can care without carrying everything. I used to think that being a good friend, a good planner, a good human meant anticipating problems before they arrived. That if I could just think far enough ahead of time, I could protect everyone I loved from discomfort. But when one of my older brothers became seriously ill several years ago, and I flew back to the Philippines, I learned something painful but actually freeing. His wife, his son, everyone was in panic mode. I tried to offer help, suggestions, options. I thought if I just said the right thing, maybe I could ease the burden. But when I left, I realized none of what I offered really changed their course. They still had to make their own decisions. And what they needed most wasn't my input. It was my presence, I think. Psychologist Dr. Susan David reminds us that emotions are data, not directives. And I was feeling the discomfort of not being able to fix things, or that emotion made me act. But what if I had just sat with it instead? Now, I ask myself, am I helping, or am I trying to escape my own helplessness? The second, I'm loosening my grip on the perfect outcome. So the Japan trip taught me a lot. I was prepared to the bone, and it wasn't bad. Everything went smoothly, but I'm learning that being ready doesn't mean controlling every moment. Greg McKeown in Essentialism writes, only once you give yourself permission to stop trying to do it all, to stop saying yes to everyone, can you make your highest contribution. I thought my highest contribution was making everything perfect, Now I think it's being present when the plan inevitably shifts. Even in work, I find myself often over preparing for client meetings, anticipating questions they probably won't ask, just so I'm never caught off guard. And while that preparation teaches me a lot, sometimes I wonder if that extra hours spent stressing would have been better used for rest, maybe for reflection or just to breathe. Now I ask, is this prep empowering me or protecting me from fear of the unknown? Third, I'm letting people choose for themselves. One of the biggest lessons I've learned, especially in times of crises, is that you can't carry someone else's emotional load. I used to think offering advice or solutions was how I showed I cared. But when I look back, especially on my trip to the Philippines, I realize people don't always need answers. Sometimes they just need your silent presence, your groundedness, your calm. Dan Siegel, the psychiatrist and mindfulness researcher, says the most healing gift you can offer someone is your attuned presence. Wow, that's powerful. It means my job isn't to fix, it's to be with. So now I ask, what would happen if I let them decide for themselves and let myself be okay with it? The fourth is I'm reframing my disruptions. I used to see delays and detours as failures, missed flights, canceled connections, lost hotel nights. But I'm starting to see them differently. You know that canceled flight in Frankfurt last year? It wasn't just a lost day in Vienna. It was a moment of surrender, a chance to practice presence. Really an invitation to live the lesson I keep saying I believe in. Dr. Edith Eger, a Holocaust survivor and psychologist, says, you can't heal what you don't feel, but you also can't be free if you don't choose your response. So now I try to ask, what can this moment teach me that a perfect plan never could? The fifth is I'm redefining what it means to do my best. This was, I think, the hardest, because I've always prided myself on being thoughtful, being prepared, considerate, and those are strengths, but they can turn into pressure if I'm not careful. Kirsten Neff, in her work on self-compassion, says, self-worth doesn't have to be earned, it can be owned. I don't need a flawless execution to be valuable. I don't need a perfectly timed itinerary to prove I'm worthy of rest or joy. I don't even need the approval of others to know that I did my best. So now I try to ask, is my effort coming from love or fear? So this whole traveling thing, doing travel vlogs and telling stories about our travels and life really got me to think a lot about the metaphors. Peace doesn't come from perfection, it comes from presence, right? It comes from letting go of the idea that I can control everything, fix everything, anticipate everything. It comes from trusting that even if the train leaves, the flight is delayed, the advice falls flat, I will still be okay. We will still be okay. Because life isn't about perfectly executed plans. It's about what you do when those plans unravel. It's about who you are when the connection is missed, when the meal is delayed, when the emotion rises, when the answer doesn't come. And that's when I felt the most alive. Not when I got it all right, but when I let go just enough to feel free. So, if you're like me, someone who loves to prepare, who wants the people around you to be okay, who thinks one more check-in or replan will solve it all, or looking at the schedule for the 15th time, I see you. But maybe the most powerful thing we can do next time the plan changes is take a breath, step back, and remind ourselves that letting go isn't giving up. It's trusting that what's meant to unfold still will. Thanks so much for watching and spending this time with me. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, your stories, your lessons, what you're learning to let go of. And if you haven't already, check out our other videos for more reflections, travels, and real life moments. Until the next time, take care and keep growing. Peace and blessings.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more.